Hello, wrestling fans. Blake Smith from Walking the Ropes, and welcome to another episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review for AEW Dynamite from Fort Myers, Florida. To open the show, we had Jericho making his way to the ring, and he starts talking about how he feels bad about what he did with Kingston and how he didn't shake his hand and how Kingston did actually earn his respect and everything. So he asks Kingston to the ring to make things right. And Kingston says he doesn't really need his respect because it doesn't really bother him anymore. He feels like he knows that he's better than Jericho now. Jericho extends his hands and they shake hands, and then 2.0 comes out and they beat down Jericho and Kingston until Santana and Ortiz come out to make the save, and they hand Floyd the bat to Jericho when Jericho smashes Santana and Ortiz with it and takes out Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. Hager comes out and it seemed like he's gonna stop Jericho, but then he runs at Jericho only for him to move, and Hager attacks Ortiz instead. Jericho then gets on the mic and says that this is the Jericho Appreciation Society. So that would be Jericho, Hager, Daniel Garcia, and 2.0, which is a very interesting dynamic indeed. We then get the AEW World Championship match. Hangman Adam Page defending against Dante Martin, and Dante has a huge opportunity tonight to showcase just how talented he is. He gets his first world title shot in AEW, and he stands a chance at becoming champion tonight if he can catch Hangman off guard after a war with Cole. They go back and forth with Page taking control on the outside and slowly wearing down Dante, and this is an awesome match as both Dante and Page show off, but eventually Hangman hits the buckshot lariat and does get the win. Hangman Adam Page defeats Dante Martin to retain the AEW World Championship, and for my Malteser scale, I gave this a 3.25 out of 5. It was a very good match. There was nothing wrong with it. But pretty much exactly what you would expect when you saw this on the card. For the WTR scale, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5 because of basically what Hangman alludes to after the match, with it basically being Dante's sort of big last match as his singles run's kind of coming to an end with Darius coming back, and he's moving on to the tag titles with Hangman after the match, telling Dante good luck for that pursuit with him and his brother. Adam Cole then comes out and challenges Page to a 6-man tag match because he wants the title from Hangman and is going to start there. Tells Hangman to pick whoever he wants. We then get a tag team match, Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley with William Regal versus the Workhorsemen. Moxley starts out with Drake and quickly shows off he and Danielson are on the same page as he tags out and starts a really good showing of teamwork from Danielson and Moxley. This is the first time Mox and Bryan have teamed, and they look amazing taking down these two men. Mox takes out one on the outside with the paradigm shift, while Danielson stomps on Drake and then locks in the LaBelle lock for the win. Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley defeat the Workhorsemen, and for my Malteser scale, I gave this a 3 out of 5 because it was a fairly solid match, although the Workhorsemen didn't really get anything done. For my WTR scale, I gave it a 3.25 out of 5, surely because of the story we are getting, because we are slowly building this tag team, and I am so happy with this. Regal then talks about Moxley and Bryan teaming and says he doesn't have much time, so he wants to make the most of it, referring to his time left in the world in general. Talks about how he knows both men and wanting them to team together and gives the rest of the roster a warning. You will not like the outcome, so either step up or get stepped on. The Dark Order talks with Page, and he apologizes to them, and they ask who he's going to pick. And he says he's already picked Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, and he kind of leaves awkwardly. I'm not really sure what's going on there. We then get a singles match, Pock versus Wheeler Yuda. Pock has been dominant lately, and Yuda will likely just be another in that list as he quickly takes control and sends it outside. Yuta does show some life, but it doesn't really make a difference as Pac explodes back and regains control and looks to finish off Yuta, and does so by locking in the Brutalizer for the win. Pock defeats Wheeler Yuda, and from a multi scale, I gave this a 2.5 out of 5 because this did just kind of come out of nowhere. And for my WTR scale, I gave it a 2 out of 5 for the exact same reason. It was a very good match, though, although we did kind of just expect Pock to walk through Yuda. The Elite talk, and Cole says he is going to be picking someone who is familiar with Paige, who knows him like the back of his hand, and who can throw a party. All things alluding to the Bucks, and they say that they want to do nothing to do with this match. Cole says he wasn't going to pick them anyways and picks Red Dragon. Shocker. FTR says that they want to destroy the Bucks and Red Dragon, and Tully says that it has always been about championships, and that's what he wants to get back to. They get mad at this, and they fire him. So FTR has fired Tully Blanchard, and I can only assume this is either going to be the last time we see Tully, or he's going to come back with another team that is going to rival FTR. I am excited to see where this goes. We then get the AHFO in the ring, and Matt doesn't want to hear anything. He says he is sorry for what he has done and will no longer wear a suit because he feels like that causes him to be a bit of a dick. Andrade wants to put it to a vote and wants to fire Matt from the AHFO, which would make it the AFO. They put it to a vote. Andrade and Jose vote no. Matt Hardy and Private Party vote yes, as in favor of Matt staying or not. Until the Private Party changes their mind and they turn on Matt and they all jump him, including the Butcher and Blade. Until Sting and Darby make their way out and they to make the save, and they're only overpowered quickly. So out comes the debuting Jeff Hardy to make the save. He clears the ring and hits a swanton bomb on the Blade as Andrade runs and he hugs his brother. Swerve then talks about his debut, and Nice interrupts him and challenges him, and Swerve accepts. So I believe that match is happening on Rampage. Wardlow comes out and says he is still under contract with MJF, and he has to come to a moment of choice, and he asks for forgiveness for working with MJF, but he needed the money to help his family. He then says MJF has no right to act the way he did, and now he no longer watches his back. He is finally free. Says he only cares about winning the TNT title, and says AEW is Wardlow's world now. Keith Lee and QT Marshall talk, and QT says he wants to help Lee by having his back. Lee says he has quite a large back, and he is good, and QT does not like that. We then get the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. Jurassic Express defending against the Acclaimed, and the Acclaimed are getting a big shot tonight as they could upset the tired Jurassic Express after Sunday night's triple threat title match. Jungle Boy starts out strong, taking control right away, and Jurassic Express waits little time double teaming Caster. Bowens turns around momentarily, only for Luchasaurus to come in and clear house. The Acclaimed attempt to come back, but Jurassic Express stops them dead anytime they try. Even when it looks like Jungle Boy is beat, they stay alive and they double team Bowens with the Doomsday device and get the win. Jurassic Express defeat the Acclaimed to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championships. And for my Malteser scale, I gave this a 3.25 out of 5. It was a very good match, although you pretty much did expect Jurassic Express to retain here. And for the WTR scale, I gave this a 3 out of 5. For the story, it did just kind of come out of nowhere, although Acclaimed have been up in the ranks. It just still did come out of nowhere. Still very good, though. Jade Cargill lays down another challenge for anyone to pick up, and we get an AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator match, Thunder Rosa versus Layla Hirsch. And these two have a very similar style, smash and bash until the other gives up. Rosa has the incentive to win here, being able to go right back and challenge Britt once again, and maybe this time it will be fair. Hirsch, though, also wants the title and has been rolling, having taken out her former friend and earned this shot. They continue this back and forth bout with neither gaining the edge for long. Layla slips outside and looks to use the extra hook again that connects the ropes, but Red Velvet stops her and allows Rosa to hit the Fire Thunder Driver for the win. Thunder Rosa defeats Layla Hirsch to become the #1 contender for the AEW Women's World title. For my Malteser scale, I gave this a 3.75 out of 5. It was a very good match. And for the WTR scale, I gave this a 3.5 out of 5. They have been building Rosa strong, and I can only assume she is going to win her next challenge. After the match, Tony Schiavone tells Rosa that next week, on the anniversary of the Lights Out match, she and Britt will fight for the AEW Women's World title inside a steel cage, so that way no one can get involved. Britt says she shouldn't even get another shot, but that doesn't matter. She will beat her cage or not. We then get the TNT Championship match, Sammy Guevara defending against Scorpio Sky. This match has the potential to be crazy as both men love to show off and go nuts. I can't see Sammy losing the title tonight. He's been red hot and they start out strong, and Sammy gets a table on the outside and hits a 450, but Sky had moved, causing Sammy to go crashing. Sammy's hurt and looks like he might end up having to leave the match, but he fights back to the ring and fights off Sky for a moment, only to be dominated and picked apart. Sky is enjoying this until Sammy almost has it won, if not for American Top Team distracting everybody on the outside. And Sky then lays out Sammy to get the win. Scorpio Sky defeats Sammy Guevara to win the TNT Championship. And for my Malteser scale, I gave this a 4.25 out of 5. It was a very good match, and it shocked me like no other, especially with the assumption that Wardlow, who the winner was facing next week at St. Patrick's Day Slam, Wardlow's got to be winning there, so he's going to have a 1-week title reign, it seems like. For my Malteser scale, I gave this a 4.25, and for the WTR scale, I gave this a 4 out of 5. It was very, very good. Overall for this show, I gave it a 3.75. It was a great show, great After Revolution show. I enjoyed every moment of it. My segment of the night goes to Jericho turning heel as well as Jeff Hardy debuting. Thought both were incredible moments. My match of the night goes to the TNT title match. It was fantastic. And the performer of the night goes to Sammy Guevara. He was an amazing TNT champion, and I hope his next title is the World Championship. But that is all for this episode of Walking the Ropes Wrestling Review. Thank you all for dropping in. If you enjoyed, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to get notifications whenever we upload a video. And I'll see you in the next one.